Last year, when it was announced that True Blood was going to get a reboot, it brought out fans out of hiding after the vampire series notoriously had a bad ending. However, the more recent announcement that it was being canceled makes the finale of True Blood much more worse. This all happened last year, um, but yeah, I have not gotten to the final season, and I know it's bad because I've seen stuff, I've heard of it. Right off the bat, you probably don't know what True Blood is. I mean, I guess I can't really necessarily blame you because it's from like 2008, and like most people my age were like kids in 2008, and this was airing on HBO, and we weren't allowed on HBO, you know what I mean? True Blood is based off of a book series like Dexter, but it's whatever. In True Blood, it takes place in like a fictional universe where vampires exist. So do werewolves and shapeshifters and fairies and witches and maenads and whatever, any other creature you can think of. But vampires are the ones that like are more out there. Werewolves not so much. The werewolves are hot though. Listen, I'll get into this later, but like I think out of all the people Sookie should have picked, she probably could have picked Alcide. I'm just saying. But the show's called True Blood because it's the name of a synthetic blood that was created by Japanese scientists. It's for, like, vampires to, like, drink so they don't have to, like, kill people to drink blood. So, this, has, like, this costs something, because when you watch the show, you'll notice that there are two sides to the vampires. There are the sides that want to be with the humans, like integrate in there. And then there are other vampires who think that it's just impossible because, well, vampires are violent. And, well, some of them are. I mean, I say that about the vampires, but the werewolves aren't any better either. There's like literal inbreeding happening with certain werewolves. It was wild, man. The series revolves around a character named Sookie Stackhouse, a telepathic human-fairy hybrid known as a halfling, not to be confused with similarly named but unrelated creatures found in other fantasy works. Sookie is a waitress at Merlotte's Bar and Grill, which is owned by her friend Sam Merlotte, which, a funny side note, the actor playing Sam is named Sam. So I know this is based off of books, but I don't know if, like, whatever. That's besides the point. So this all takes place in Louisiana, in Bon Temps. This doesn't take place in New Orleans, because if I had a nickel for every time the vampires went to New Orleans, wait a minute. New Orleans is around, I'm stupid. Sam's also, like, a magic person. I think the only human is Sookie's brother, who I used to hate. His name's Jason. I used to hate him so much. I used to hate Jason so much. Anyways, you're probably wondering what Sam is. Sam's a shapeshifter. This is spoilers, and I'm sorry, but it's been years since the show's been out, okay? The main thing you probably want to know is that there's two vampires that like Sookie. One named Bill and one named Eric Northman. Bill is Bill Compton. He is 173 years old, and he actually used to live in Bon Temps, which is where this show takes place in. His family kind of like used to run. It's a bit complicated to say. I don't remember anything about that, but I do remember at some point, I think Bill wanted to run for mayor of Bon Temps. He was king at one point. There's a lot in this show. Tara is Sookie's best friend, and at some point she gets turned into a vampire. Tara's a mixed bag. I don't really want to talk about her. And then there's Jason, like I mentioned before, Sookie's brother that I used to hate. He's slowly warming up to me. And I'm only on season 5, and I'm still stuck on season 5. And then we have the other vampire I mentioned, Eric Northman. Let me just say that the Skarsgårds are just perfect at playing vampires. Anyways, Eric is a lot older than Bill. If you're wondering how old, Eric is 1,000 years old. He's 1,000. and he is the sheriff of Area 5, like a specific part of like vampires. He's the sheriff of like I think Bon Temps. And then another character we have is Lafayette. He's like a cook at Merlot's, and he's also a drug dealer, and he's also a medium. His powers are a bit more useful as the series goes on. Rest in peace to Nelson Ellis, he's dead. Anyways, the show explores several contemporary issues such as the struggle for equal rights, discrimination, and violence against minorities and homosexuals. Also the problem of drug addiction, the power of faith and religion, the control and influence of the media, the quest of identity, and the importance of family. One day I'll get into True Blood. I'm saying that like I haven't, like I finished the whole show. I really haven't. I'm stuck on season 5. And also, wow, they were filming season 3 in 2010, like, and season 4 came out when I turned, like, 8. I'm sorry, what? So, circling back to the Scream Rant article that I'm reading, why was True Blood's ending so hated? Well, the finale was overly bland. After like 7 seasons of campy gore and graphic you-know-what, because it's an HBO show, the show's ending remained overly tame and had a strange focus on traditional family ideas, which didn't sit right with the progressive themes that appear in True Blood overall. I'm not gonna really spoil the ending, but overall it didn't make sense considering the chaotic energy of the rest of the series. It's worth noting that I will make a video talking about what went wrong with True Blood, because this is something that I've been fascinated about talking about, but again, this is besides the point. Let me just say that by canceling the reboot, creators are taking away the opportunity for the show to redeem itself after the terrible ending. Reboots often bring series back into public consciousness, and the True Blood reboot did the same, but would have had the chance to overcome the original series' challenges by offering new content for audiences to enjoy. The reboot would have pasted over the finale and given the show a new and improved ending. We will, separate from this, talk about this more. In theory, the reboot could have explored Sookie's life post-Bill and the series finale. Even following the finale's family themes, the reboot could reinstate the dramatic, weird ambiance of the original series, making the finale more acceptable because of what would come later. Sookie's child, or its father, could present new magical problems that the characters have to face. However, with the reboot being cancelled, these chances for redemption are ruined. Overall, a True Blood reboot would have helped the franchise by lessening the blow of the series finale. A reboot could have opened the door for a wide range of possibilities for the characters and the world that could appease not only past viewers, but also bring in new ones, revamping the fandom as a whole and getting it back into the current media stream. New content would have made sense for the ending, or at the very least, erased it from viewers' minds. However, the cancellation only worsened the True Blood situation. The reboot announcement brought True Blood back into the public's minds and made them remember the awful ending, but canceled the one chance to make it better, leaving only the sour taste of the finale. Because of this, the reboot and its consequent cancellation hurt True Blood and worsened its bad ending. Despite this, there's always hope that another director or writer could pick up the series, so True Blood may still have a chance at a second life. So like I said, True Blood is based off of a book series, and the fact that the first 3 seasons were loosely based off of some of the books means something. Not only that, but I think the True Blood reboot that we could have gotten might have not done well, and let me explain why. In 2 videos, or like 3, depending on how you count, I haven't counted, in a bunch of videos, I have mentioned this man. This is Roberto Aguirre Sacasa. You know him as the creator of Riverdale. You also might know him for the fact that I mentioned him in my Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark video, and also in the Superman video, technically. Roberto, I've already played that Friendly Space Ninja clip like several times, so I'm not going to play it again. What I do want to play, though, is something he mentioned in the Pretty Little Liars Summer School video that I'll play later. Roberto's not really good at rebooting stuff. Editing Amy cutting in here to say that Roberto didn't direct the 2013 Carrie, but he did write the screenplay with some other person. And I mean, I guess you can kind of tell when you watch Carrie, because arguably no one really likes 2013 Carrie from what I've heard. I mean, I like it, but people are entitled to their own opinion. The clip that I always show you about Friendly Space Ninja talking about Roberto is when he was talking about the new Pretty Little Liars show, Pretty Little Liars Original Sin. That show sucked. It got a second season called Summer School. That also sucked. But in the other video that Friendly Space Ninja made about Summer School, he mentioned that Roberto was going to reboot other shows, but of course they got canceled. Knowing that we were this close to getting a reboot made by Roberto Aguirre Sacasa kind of makes me glad that we never got it in the first place, considering what True Blood is. True Blood is not his genre, considering the fact that he took Pretty Little Liars and made it not cool. And Pretty Little Liars was never like, okay, this is my opinion coming in. Pretty Little Liars was never a normal show, especially with that weird plot they had at one point with the dollhouse thing, and also figuring out who A is, and then all the multiple A's they had, and then the fact that they tried to make 2 sequel series called Ravenwood and Pretty Little Liars Perfectionists. It's always been a weird franchise to me. Oh, but Amy, Roberto made Sabrina the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That show was pretty fucked up. Why are you saying all this? Have you not seen the finale of Sabrina the Teenage Witch? The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? This is not his thing. It also doesn't help that Katie Keene, Riverdale, and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina are all connected. And he also is trying to connect Pretty Little Liars Original Sin with his Archieverse. And since he's implying these things in his Archieverse, who knows what he would have done with True Blood. He probably would have connected True Blood with the Archieverse, which would have made no sense. But then again, sky's the limit since there's witches in the Archieverse. I end this video off with the clip of what Friendly Space Ninja said about Roberto Aguirre Sacasa and True Blood. Thank you for watching. I'm going to see you all in the next video where I talk about the Phantom of Paradise movie.
Roberto Aguirre Sacasa is the worst showrunner in Hollywood, and his success makes absolutely no sense to me. I think Roberto believes that he's very spooky and edgy and all that stuff, but no, he's just making copies of iconic movies he grew up with. Copies that are so pale and so devoid of anything creative that it's just getting sad now. He's not able to create his own stories because he's just bad at it. It's not a coincidence that every project he's been involved in has been a reboot or an adaptation of something that was already iconic. His entire career has been based on taking other people's stuff and trying to reinvent it his way. But it has become very clear that all he does is taking stories that people cherished and turn them into Frankenstein atrocities that people hate and give up on. He takes already established properties and steals storylines from classic movies he likes and ruins them as he tries to recreate them, passing them off as homages. This man has never had a single original idea. Ever since the Riverdale days, I've always said that the one good idea he's ever had was to turn Riverdale into a murder mystery. And then he admitted in an interview a couple years later that doing that was not his idea. It was Greg Berlanti's.
You know, it originally started kind of as a more traditional coming-of-age show. And very early on, Greg Berlanti, who's my boss, he's the executive producer on this and the godfather of all comic book shows. Very early on, he said, you know, Roberto, I love this. I love these characters. I think you're a great writer. I think you need to put in a dead body.
This man has never had a single original idea. He's just a lame copycat. He did it with Riverdale. It failed. He tried it with Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. It failed. He tried it with Spider-Man, believe it or not. It failed. He tried it by remaking classic horror films from the 70s, notably Carrie. Yes, that was him, by the way. It failed. And now he tried it with Pretty Little Liars, and he is still failing. This show is so weak. It has no bite, it has no stakes, it has no creativity, it has no genuine artistic values, it has nothing to offer. It's not even bothered to be fun to laugh at. It's just bad in a way that makes you want to cry. It is a big pile of nothing made by a man who has spent the last 15 years proving over and over and over again that he is incapable of telling a decent story. But his era is coming to an end. There is a trail behind Roberto, and it's getting pretty faint as his TV empire just dwindles away and the industry seems to be losing interest in him with each passing day. Let's just say his projects have been a series of flops recently. If you don't know, Roberto was developing a reboot of True Blood that was announced a couple years ago, but this project was apparently cancelled in its development stage. Coincidentally, it seems like it was cancelled around the same time Riverdale was ending. Coincidence? Probably. I'll let you decide that for yourself.